Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Zip back with you to talk more about crypto, that big macro picture and where we're going in the future. And tonight I hope everyone is absolutely doing fantastic out there. And we're going to be diving into some financial analysis that really a lot of folks just don't understand. We're going to talk about the dollar and where crypto is and compare it against some other investment strategies that, traditionally we have been exposed to, and what it is about cash and why cash is absolutely trash long term because of inflation. The US dollar has lost over 10% of its value this year. You heard that correct, 10%. So, really saving cash puts us economically behind and backwards. And again, nothing I say on this channel is financial advice. This is my purview on where things are going and why digital assets and crypto like XRP, XLM, Bitcoin, whatever your flavor is, it's not about one asset in this tribalism that we see, because it's going to be an interoperable world. And we put content out here over and over again to show that use case. But the question is should we be stacking dollars in the bank? Traditionally, that is the methodology and what we're taught in America. But really, in my opinion, those of us that have pivoted, and you're going to see it tonight in this video, have pivoted to crypto and even some other assets, are the ones that are going to be financially secure going into the future. Now, stick around as we're going to break all this down. We'll show you the data and a 5-year analysis of the last 5 years. If you had been in crypto as compared to the dollar and some other assets, like the stock market and even precious minerals. Now, please hit those like buttons, hit that subscribe, and let's get into it. And as we do that, we're going to take a quick peek first at the markets. Yes, the markets have lit up a little bit here. Again, we are in Q4, which I believe Q4 is absolutely going to be exciting. And today, Bitcoin hit another all-time high of around 126.5, I believe is where it was. It's leveled out a little bit right now. But even just looking at this chart right now, we look at the last 7 days and the returns on many of the cryptos that you own out there, possibly. You can see the returns on those. So it's been a good 7 days, and even the last 24 hours, we're up. Now, transitioning over, this is what really spawned my thought process on what topic tonight. Again, the US dollar has lost over 10% of its value this year alone. And over the course of the last 5 years, we know that has been the trend, and why really remaining in cash as compared to taking some risk and getting into assets like crypto just makes a lot of sense. But we're going to break that down. But this is really, again, what really spawned it off, because, the trend's clear. We all feel it. People are absolutely not doing well out there in the economy. There's a lot of prices have gone up, and it's not about being negative. It's just about being practical and understanding the environment. This has been one of the worst drops since 1973 per economic data now. And the Fed, even with them holding rates, and dropping the rate more recently, and probably going to drop it a couple more times coming into the next couple months, which is phenomenal for risk-on assets like crypto. But we're seeing gold hit all-time record highs. Bitcoin, 126.5 today. What does this actually mean for your money? I'm going to show you a visual here so we can actually analyze over the last 5 years, if you had made certain choices, where you're sitting today. It's so easy to become emotional and look at these markets and go, my coin hasn't moved in a month. or the market's down, whatever the case is. But when you take that macro view and you look back at what the returns have been, it's clear being in these risk-on assets is absolutely the place to be. Now let's break that down a little bit and just show it to you, because I'm a visual learner and I like to see it. And that's what I'm going to present. So the analysis that we're talking about here is $10,000. Let's just say 5 years ago, it's what, October 6th, 2025. If in October 6th, 2020, we had $10,000 and we were to invest that equally into several different assets, had to get my big head out of the way there so you could see this whole screen. But if we were to take that $10,000 and we were to compare that into multiple investments, this is what it looks like. If we took that $10,000 and we put it into the bank, and I'm being pretty nice here and saying we're getting 5% if you had it in a traditional bank. I don't think you would have made that over the course of the last 5 years, but hey, possibly. But even with 5%, you know, in today, right now, it would have been worth $12,763. That's a 28% return over, you know, the last 5 years. Not bad, because we're trained to look at rates of return. But now if we take Bitcoin and we start to analyze this crypto market and we took that same $10,000 today, it would be worth over $114,000. That's over 1,000% return on your investment. XRP, which I know many of you are in, we took that $10,000, look at the return here. And this is why when I'm looking at my portfolio, I like to be diversified. Nothing against Bitcoin, but I do believe long-term, XRP is going to give me more return on value, and probably you as well as some of these other coins. But if we took that $10,000, we'd have $124,000 today, over 1,100% return over the course of the last 5 years. Stellar XLM, $10,000 would be $55,000 today, 455% return. And then if we break it down and we even go into precious metals, because yes, gold and silver is doing phenomenally well right now. Gold also hit another all-time high. But if we took that $10,000, it would be worth $21,000 today with 110% return total. Silver, same thing, $20,000 today, over $20,000, 109% return based off of today's numbers and where we would be. And then we take the traditional markets, the S&P 500, which we have been trained to really spend 40 years, 45 years in those markets, putting our 401k in there, your Roths, your traditional IRAs. It'd be worth $18,427 for a return of 84%. Now, a lot of people would be screaming about that, but this is why when we look at these risk-on assets like crypto, and where we know when the utility starts to come in and where this environment is going, there is no doubt the numbers do not lie. And again, this isn't financial advice at all. It's to give an awareness and put it on paper so you can actually see what the capability is there. If you've been sitting on the fence wondering where to go in, and if you're sitting on cash, you're losing. If you have cash, do the analysis, understand, do the research, decide what projects you want to get into. This tonight is not about getting into one project or another. This is about risk on assets and where crypto is going. And we are absolutely so early in this environment. If you're brand new, welcome to crypto, welcome to the channel, but you're early. And this can clearly show you what has happened over the course of the last 5 years. And I believe the next 5 years, the amount of growth is even going to be greater because of everything that we have going on. We got the ETFs that are getting ready to drop, which is going to cause some supply shock. We've got the Clarity Act that will eventually be passed once we get the government back in order here in the US of A. We got the SEC, we got the CFTC all coming together. We got the administration of the United States that wants us to be the crypto capital of the world. All of this going into the next 5 years just positions us for such a phenomenal growth period, starting with Q4, which is what we're in right now. And I am absolutely excited to see what happens as all of this comes to a culmination and we get all of those things, the ETFs, the laws. Going into 2026 is actually absolutely going to be the ride of our lives. But this shows it to you very, very clearly. Is it risky? 100%. Yes, there's some risk. And I am not telling you, I don't give financial advice anyhow, but don't go out and mortgage the house against it necessarily. But everything that you can do, if you have to stop drinking Starbucks or eating out or whatever the case is, every little bit that you can put into this environment, it is going to be multiplied well more than definitely if you're sitting in cash and you're putting it into a piggy jar and just letting it sit there in the bank. But even in the traditional stock market, which is probably going to do great over the course of the next few years, depending on the economy and what goes on universally. But crypto is universal. We've got all the countries coming into it and seeing and recognizing what the capability is here long term. And the biggest elephant in the room is tokenization. When they start to tokenize and that full utility comes in of tokenizing all of Wall Street, tokenizing real estate, tokenizing everything that moves. If they could tokenize water, they're going to tokenize water. You got to believe it. It's just where things are going. But I hope this shows you that bigger, broad picture of what is going on and what the capability of your financial future possibly could be. Now, with that, please continue to be safe, be smart out there, because the scammers are out at large, and I want your assets to be protected, and I want you to absolutely be prepared for the exponential growth as this bull run picks up here going into Q4, into 2026, and it's an elongated period. We're going to be in for the ride of our lives, and you have to prepare yourself mentally for that. And to when these gains and you start to realize them, the excitement and the FOMO and everything else that's in the psychological battle that's going to be involved with it is going to be absolutely fantastic. But with that, be safe, be smart, keep that mindset on positive lock. And until next time, Zip is out.